Symbols that you may see. So if you see the symbol, English words to see. So when you see the symbol, you have to see number 5. If you see two parallel lines equal in length, what do you say? Equal. So when you see this, you say 5. When you see this, you say equal. When you see this sign, you say inequality signs with a less than part and a greater than part. Do not say greater than sign, neither less than sign. This is an inequality sign. So just like what you say in 5, equal, inequality. The thing about this sign, it has an opening and it has a point. It's like the head of an arrow. It's the opening that is called greater than. The word for the opening symbol is greater than. Always start with the X. Say X is. So anytime you see X is associated with this symbol, start with the X. You have a point. That symbol also has a point. The name for the point is the less than. So that very same symbol have those two words. So it is not a greater than sign. It is not a less than sign. It is an inequality sign that have two parts. A greater than and a less than. The word for the point symbol is called less than. Always start to read by saying X is, because X can be on either side of it. So if X is at the point, you say X is less than. If X is at the opening, you say X is greater than. Proof. Here it is. The opening is called greater than, the point is called less than. If you rotate it so, same thing. The point is called less than, the opening is called greater than. So if the X is here, you say X is greater than. Always start with the X. If X is there, you say X is less than. It can point slanting, less than, greater than. It can point vertically, greater than, less than. It can point upwards, less than, greater than. It's an inequality sign with a less than part and a greater than part. Unit 23 says, Algebra 1, solving linear inequalities. A linear inequality is a mathematical statement that contains two terms separated by an inequality sign. The following are the inequality signs and their names. Symbol, always start with the X. X is greater than 15. So that's why some people normally call this sign, because it's pointing towards the right, they say it's a greater than sign, because in English, we normally read from left to right. But in maths, you can read from any direction. Because if the X was where the 15 is, and the 15 was where the X is, you would say X is less than. X is greater than or equal to 25, X is less than 27, X is less than or equal to 48. So all of these examples there is when X is on the left side. And we start in reading from the left. So a more elaborate explanation would have X on the right side. And then you have to start with the X. And that very same sign, you might end up be saying less than. So is it the less than sign or the more than sign? Though it is the inequality sign with a less than part and a greater than part. To solve a linear inequality, you simply follow this step. It's just like a linear equation. Follow the steps of the linear equation. Simple as that. And in the event, you must divide or multiply by a negative number, because remember, you can recall in the latter end, we have to always be dividing by the coefficient. And if it's a negative number, you switch the sign of the inequality. You switch the direction. So if you have to divide or multiply by a negative number, you switch the direction of the inequality sign. And you can represent your solution on a number line, because you will be saying all the numbers that are greater than, and it's a whole set of them, and all the numbers that are less than is a whole set of them. For example, here we have an example, and we're going to discuss it. So we have to clear the brackets, multiply by 5 on both sides. So we have multiplied by 5. 5 by x is 5x, and 5 by 1 is 5. So now we're going to simplify the numbers. 5 plus 2 is 7. So now we subtract 7 on both sides. Or we compare let's compare the x's. You have a smaller 5x and a 9x. The 5x is smaller, so we keep the 9x where it is, and we cancel out the smaller x, which is a 5x. So we have to subtract 5x on both sides. I repeat, 5 is smaller than 9, so we keep the 9 where it is, keep the bigger one where it is, the bigger x, and we have to cancel out the smaller x, which is 5x, a positive 5x, so we have to subtract 5x on both sides. So that's where the error is. That's a -4. That's supposed to be a minus 5x. Minus 5x on the left, minus 5x on the right. So the 5x cancels out from the left side. So now we have to cancel out that -3 by adding on both sides. So we add 3 on the right, we have to add 3 on the left. So as you can clearly see, if we take out 3 from 3, 3 going to cancel out. The -3, you add 3. Take out 3 from 3, 0. 7 plus 3 is 10. So now we have to divide by 4 on both sides. Cancel out 4. We divide by 4 on the right. We have to divide by 4 on the left. And x now remained on the right side. So now we divided by 4 on both sides. To cancel out 4, we are left with x on the right side, and on the left side, 10 divided by 4 to simplify to 5 divided by 2, which is 2.5. So now when you're reading this, you have to start with the x. And this is saying x is less than or equal to 2.5. And you see how it is pointing towards the right, and you might say, well, the greater than sign. No. You have to, is where the x is, that is what you see. So x here is on the small part. So you have to say less than. So x is less than or equal to 2.5. All the numbers that are less than 2.5, starting with 2.5. So this can be represented on a number line. All the numbers that are less than 2.5 and equal to it. So starting from 2.5, numbers like 0, numbers like 1, a whole bunch of them. All the numbers that are less than or equal to 2.5. That is what x is. A whole set of numbers. 0.5 and so forth.